the biggest issue with Guri, which is the same issue we had with them in the LCQ and also the group stages from LATAM, is that they miss out on a lot of scoring chances. And as we see, they're going to miss out on fake Xin, as selfish in HVZ, you know?
Is that a caster curse?
Maybe. I'm so sorry, Guri.
Hey man, sometimes you got to go for that hot drop for the vehicle, the 1v1, unfortunately for him.
Here we go. Shrimzy, early on, worried about what was going on with Troglodytes. It's actually Silza now that's come in. You can see little shots on the ground just trying to get Shrimzy's attention, see if he can get an idea if it's just one or maybe even more here.
Looks like he's going to be okay. He's got some backup coming here with Benya, but it's mostly just feeling each other out, just trying to figure out where everybody's hanging out in the places that you can't see. Now Shrimzy still by himself, and actually Benya going to send it in. This is kind of surprising from Synergy, and they're going to pay for it. That is just a free kill there for Shrimzy.
Yeah, you can see even switching to the M24 just to get the secure, you know? You've got to start making decisions where you want to play on the edge, or are we going to start seeing a couple of teams take those real quick dips into the center of the town and play outward shifts, because you guys can just see there's so many players still left alive, but bing, bang, boom. A little bit of struggle now in this Troglodytes rotation. Necro got Keenan on the drive-by. We can see Roth pushing up for support, does have the angle above hand. It looks like Posa might not be aware that Roth was so close on to foot. Gets Necro down very low, didn't quite find the knock. Once Molotov might just be enough to do the last little bit of damage, but it's going to fall short.
This is just brutal to watch right now. I mean, Bing Bang Boom just cannot catch a break, as they have just been one bullet shy each time, but now the rest of the squad has shown up. Keenan has been flushed out. Kill Demo across the way has the high ground, so Bing Bang Boom needs to be careful, laying down the smokes, do what they should do, due diligence, as they try to push out these last two. Might be better to focus on the hill guy here, actually.
No. I think Gats got hit by a Molotov. As you can see, the damage chunking down, but this angle that Kill Demo's got, the high ground, this was essentially the same angle that we just saw Bing Bang Boom trying to hold as the Troglodytes was starting to drive by, but...
They're just asking to get grenaded here, man.
You've got this. I mean, Sharp Shot starting to sneak in. Gats, again, still trying to recover from that Molotov. So much utility is coming out from Troglodytes right now.
This is just a bad fight. It's kind of falling apart on him as... Posa will find Roth. Nice little spot from Sharp Shot, but it doesn't matter. Just clean from Troglodytes, and Bing Bang Boom. Not the way you want to see them start this day.
No, I mean, we're really hoping to have a bit of a momentum change for them coming into Miramar, looking for the opportunity to recover. And
so Flood and Rello may want to consider hopping back in the vehicle, or maybe Snakers maybe consider go up to them even. Now that they're down to 3, but Soniqs you can see already regrouping here a little bit. 4 p.m. running into Fiumba on the south side. Actually, Fiumba running into them as Capitan right outside of the blue. Going to get knocked very, very low. LFP pushing out in the blue to see if he can maybe find the angle. He's going to find it, get the knock. There you go. Good stuff from 4 p.m.
And a quick flash, you see, did run back inside. Hearing the vehicles, Draft King and the rest of Fiumba drove by to try and help out Capitan, but reading the situation, decided to continue moving on, wrapping behind Viz King and Maridao. Might be able to punish just a bit, but they do need to be very careful from what's happening for Soniqs. They're going to have perfect line of sight on that ridgeline, but Maridao taking shots isn't going to find a knock on the crash from Fiumba. A quick reposition. Zemi does go down to a grenade. Maridao spots the second one. That's a 2 for 2 players down. 1 to go, finds it, and that is a wipe. 4 p.m. completely annihilating Fiumba. As you can see, Wadez also being very careful not to get caught out in the open here for 22. Another nade. This one looks like, oh, it's going to bounce right on top of Vinny. And that vehicle explosion will be enough to take down Hazeton with the grenade in tow. Hello, my bad, making sure that his nade got that flush, and that's another point now on the board for TMG. But look at this. Wildcard looking for an opportunity to get involved as YKKamukau looks for an angle.
I mean, this is brutal for Wildcard and Dodge. They hear all of this going on, but they can't really commit to going for the angle. Nice shots from Juarez, but doesn't get the knock onto Haven. Gets him down to 1 HP, and now Vinny gonna hard push out. Finds Hallow My Bad, but Hallow My Bad holds strong. Gonna go down eventually to the zone. It's all down to Zealot. He's got a little bit of high ground here. Wildcard, you can see YKKamukau now starting to creep out a little bit more. Gizera gonna finish off everybody with that well-placed grenade, and now it's just Zealot holding the line, seeing if he can survive a little bit longer, and it looks like Wildcard actually going to find 22.
I mean, waiting to see where Phase 5 takes us. Zealot's got this buggy to get him into zone. Unfortunately, he is going to have to move as it's going to shift back away.
Oh, Rumblers.
Oh, and we can see it looks like TX completely melt out the Rumblers. Luminosity Gaming have been fighting alongside with Peak, and you can see Luke 12 trying to pop that first aid kit. It's going to fall into the blue Pinta, taken down by the zone as well with the help of that nade thrown by Peak. Kurt, whoa, just barely able to pop off that first aid kit, but it's not looking great for this first match in LG.
Yeah, there they go. Well, LG and Rumblers, all these teams really victims of just repeated hard Northwestern shifts, pulling away from Los Leones. These were all the teams that were hanging out in Los Leones, in the city, just on the outskirts. And then, of course, I mean, just repeated hard shifts away, they eventually were going to run into each other. And now another one, as you see Synergy kind of in the same boat, United still in the same boat. It looks like Peak should be able to get everybody back on their feet, though. 3 kills in the bag as well, but they are pretty beaten and pretty busted, and now they've got to find somewhere new to play. And Soniqs will finish off 4 p.m., but TX, I mean, they haven't taken a shot yet. Looks like they have been spotted out now from range. So TX and Synergy and now Troglodytes are going to start making their way over here. E-United just gets to hang out in the buildings right now, seeing all of this go down. Meanwhile, Eos Guri just inside the circle, don't have any lines of sight onto any of this, but they do have a spot. And right now, that's what counts.
Yeah, and United starting to pick off the backside of this, as well as Rello and Staker's going to take off another member. Team X eliminated. It is actually Guri getting that last final kill from Zakraken. But look at this. Dodge head into zone, had a little bit of a friendly visit from Peak. They got the knock on, of course. Finn is down. Ethan and Hikerman had already repositioned, and now waiting for the rotation. You got a full clown car from members of Peak. Arma getting taken down, but HVZ, Dean Zera tried to stop to help their teammate out, but it wasn't gonna happen. Wildcard and Ethan from Dodge.
Somehow E-United still 3 strong out of all of that.
You know, I'm not quite sure how they managed to benefit from the chaos. We missed a bit of it on the back end, but coming into this final match, it's 3 games, it's 3 players. Still something that could give them a big benefit coming into this last little fight. As we can see, we're down to about 5 teams, 15 players left alive, but keeping in mind that both Soniqs and Wildcard are still up as a 4-man Wildcard, having full control of the north, but they do still need to cross the road. United crossing over open terrain. Beal finds Flood. There's only 2 still up. That nade just a little too early, and Rello on the drive-by gets the trade onto Beal. It's all up to Zakraken as Snaker's down to 7 HP, tries to avoid getting run over by his own car, but only to get taken out by the Soniqs. Poro, we're going into our final 4 teams up.
It's just really going to... can they get across the street? Do you commit to going across the road now? I feel like Wildcard should do that as quickly as they possibly can. It is phase 6, and we are down to our top 3 teams, so it does open up things a little bit here, but Wildcard maybe focusing down on Dodge. There you go. Nikos will get the opening knock on the Hikerman, and now the push coming through from Cal.
I mean, this is the best move that Wildcard really could have made. It was going to give them the best amount of coverage to rotate into the zone towards the Soniqs, but you can see Shrimsy Mime, they saw what happened, and they want to make sure that they've got a line of sight, not only to potentially even pick off the solo Ethan, who's still up for Dodge, but maybe even get a better idea of how Wildcard is playing this in-game out. 11 kills now for Sonic. You can see the minis are out in force.
Saw a little bait there from Wildcard. Adam and Greg shot. One hopped in the vehicle while the other held the ridge line to see if anybody would peek. A few shots came through, but no knocks were found. Tickleton just kind of holding the south side, waiting for Ethan to peek his head, but Ethan doesn't have to really do anything. He's inside the circle. Everybody really inside the circle right now. The one bad thing for Wildcard right now is that Soniqs have so much area to move around outside of their field of vision on this hill, whereas they're just kind of pinned down. They're basically just hoping for the late game here where Waikakamukau and Nikos, they can kind of get involved here from the short range.
Yeah, I mean, a north shift would be huge in terms of helping out Wildcard with that positioning that Greg Shot and Adam have, but few more seconds, we'll see where that phase 8 zone takes us, and then ultimately that phase 9 in the direct center of it are going to lose the street, and that means that unfortunately Greg Shot and Adam are going to have to start to make some moves. We can already see shots from the Soniqs out in that direction. Ethan also once again losing some of that ridge line, but now that Greg Shot and Adam are making moves, this might be the time for Ethan to act as well.
Yeah, a few nice ones landed on a Greg Shot there. Will force them to pause down just a little bit. Not sure what Wildcard's smoke situation's looking like, but even still, I mean, they have vehicles back there. We saw them try to use it to bait the peaks onto Soniqs. Can they smoke off enough to where they can get a little bit closer to their teammates? You can see the ridgeline that they have. It's a beautiful ridgeline. The problem being Ethan. The second they try to go for that, they're just kind of to worry about Ethan shooting them in the back. So no knocks coming through, no doors opening up for Wildcard. They've got their work cut out for them.
I'm honestly, too, just so impressed at the way that Ethan's been able to keep his cool and be able to play the zone like this now. As you can see, starting to take that creep. Still not in yet. In fact, I think that tree just ahead of him, if he can lay prone and maybe stay out of line of sight from Adam and Gregshot, could still be in. But it's really going to be up to when Adam and Gregshot finally cross this street. If they go for that same tree right there onto the left, then that could take the fight between these two and Ethan.
Yeah, starting to try to lay down a little bit more of a smoke wall here. You can see Nikos and Waikikimukau, they're pulling up just a little bit now that the Soniqs are pushing one down as well. So smoke's being used sparingly, and there you go. Ethan will get spotted out by Adam, so that opens up the door a little bit for Wildcard to go for this low ground. Nikos and Waikikimukau trying to cause a problem, but nice grenade from H-Win will find Nikos. He goes down as Wildcard. Adam and Gregshot try to make their way across this road.
And you can see Waikikimukau throwing out his last nade. He still has a Molotov in the back pocket, looking to find some kind of knock. It's unfortunately Gregshot is going to go down. Waikikimukau now going wide. He got that information about where Mime was. Is looking for an opportunity to find another knock. Flashbang up the ridgeline, but it's spotted out by Shrimzy. He gets knocked down. It's down to just one. Adam, who's low on HP. You can see all members of Soniqs taking shots in his direction. Self-immolation, though, as Adam goes down. And Soniqs take the first victory of the day with 14 kills.
Very, very clean end game there from Soniqs. It was always going to be difficult for Wildcard once that circle shifted off of that road and forced them to cross over. But Wildcard had opportunities there. It's just Soniqs just kept closing every door that Wildcard tried to open.
And you know, my heart breaks for Wildcard because we saw them in so many similar situations like this up in the mid and late game yesterday where things just weren't in a place for them to clutch out and regain that positioning. But well played from Soniqs throughout that entire match, actually.